Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Ed's Auto Garage podcast. But before we get started with the podcast, let's give a shout out to Arango Insurance Services. Arango Insurance Services is your traditional home, auto, commercial insurance brokerage that specializes in providing insurance to the automotive industry. From exotic and collector cars and private automotive collections to insuring automotive OEM repair shops, restoration shops, automotive component manufacturers, and even dealerships. We write coverages with many of the top carriers, and we can customize a policy to fit your needs. Check us out, Arango Insurance Services at www.arangoins.com or call us at 949-887-1274. Again, 949-887-1274. And stay tuned to this podcast. It's a good one. Thanks. Bye. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ed's Auto Garage. As you can tell, I am coming to you live from within... No, I'm not in my garage. I'm at a dear friend's home here in Laguna Niguel, right, is where we are?
Laguna. That means by the ocean.
Yep. And we are here, and I am graced with motorsport royalty here today.
Thank you.
I am here with no other than Linda Vaughn.
Thank you.
If you are, you know, in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
There's no age limit.
There's no age limit. You know who Linda Vaughn is.
And it's like music. There's no age limit to good music.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
And good-looking hot rods.
Exactly. So Linda has been gracious enough to spend some time here with me, and this is new, as you guys all know, because I've never done this remotely, so bear with me. This is the first to do this remotely with. So again, thank you so much, Linda.
You're very welcome.
And
I want to say thank you to Miss Judy King, who arranged all this.
Absolutely.
She's doing such a good job in our industry, and I'm real proud of her.
That's great.
So
yes.
A friend of hers is a friend of mine.
Right. Thank you so much. I've known Judy. Judy is with Epart Trade, and I've known Judy since we were 14, 15 years old.
Wow.
And a dear friend of my wife's growing up. And yeah, she's been a real big supporter, and she is basically has been a trailblazer just like Linda, but taking it to the next level.
She's taking it to the next level, and I'm so proud of what she's doing. I told her one day in the bank, I said, Judy, the way things are going in our industry, why don't you start your own business? Little did I know they were there to borrow money to start their own business. I wonder why she looked at me that way. And then she finally told me what they were doing, and I've been jumped right on. I was a part of it all the way.
You've been with her the whole time.
And especially with what's happening with our pandemics and everything, to keep people visual and involved with what's going on in our world. It's been really a tough few years. It really has.
So this is this is a plug. Judy doesn't know this. This is a plug for Epart Trade. If you are in the motorsports industry and you are a business, not consumer, you know, not, hey, average Joe, I want to buy a muffler. No. But if you're a business within the industry of motorsports, check out Epart Trade online.
And I'll back it up.
There you go. Tell us a little bit. You know, I know that you, over the years, you've had people ask you these questions over and over, and I don't want to sound repetitive.
Now, Ed, what is your question?
My question is, what was it like as a girl growing up in Georgia, because you're from Georgia,
yes, I am.
Being exposed to the auto racing scene? How was that for you?
Well, growing up, I used to slip off and go to the races on Saturday night, and I have this white blonde hair. I'd come home every Saturday night. I'd get a whipping because I had to be in church the next morning, and Mother would make me go wash my hair, and I'd cry myself to sleep. But this went on for about 3 Saturdays in a row, and finally she goes, "Oh, I'm going to go down there and see why you're getting a spanking every Saturday night." She went down there and she got hooked. She liked it because I was slipping down there watching the dirt races on this Georgia red clay track, and I'd come home a redhead. So I was so interested in watching the competition. And then all of a sudden I had this boyfriend. I was growing up, and we started the Road Raven Club. He had a 57 Chevrolet. So I had to say, we need to form a club. I have the Road Ravens and the Ravenettes, and I started getting the girls. The girls would get jealous on Friday nights because the guys wouldn't take them anywhere. I said, "Can y'all cook? Learn how to cook." We'd cook food and take it over to the garages, and we'd get to polish on the cars and hang out with the guys. So I started back then, as young as 17, with Jimmy Lee Newberry in a 57 Chevrolet, doing things for the industry. I went out to Charlie's Speed Shop, and for Christmas I paid $5 down and $5 a week for my first Hurst Shifter to go in that 57 black Chevrolet.
But you never really saw it as really, I can imagine, you didn't think of it as really like, I'm getting into this industry. It just kind of evolved for you.
Absolutely. Each time was a stepping stone.
Right.
And then there were these beauty contests, and Jimmy goes, "Well, you can't enter that. You won't win. You're from the Redneckville in Dalton, Georgia." And I go, "Watch me." When he said I can't win, I was determined I was going to go down and win Miss Atlanta Raceway, and I did. And that opened the door for me. I was in Victory Lane. I got to kiss Fred Lorenzen, which made him jealous. But that's okay. I'd never been kissed by a Yankee. I about fell off the car. But it was an experience I'll never forget because I got exposed to the Pure Oil Company and to more people in racing. And I got to meet the great Junior Johnson, Richard Petty, Joe Weatherly, Curtis Turner, Booper, my best friend in the whole wide world. She was working for the Pure Oil Company at the time. So it just evolved into another job. I entered Miss Firebird and I won that. So my career was getting started. But in the meantime, I was going to school and I was a dental technician. And I told my dentist, I said, "I'm going to have to quit because I'm going racing." And I got a job as Miss Firebird that summer, and I got to go to all the visiting racetracks and ride in their pace car and ride on the shifter, on the Firebird. And then I met George Hurst at Daytona the following year, and Wally Parks from NHRA. And the doors started opening big time. He says, "I'd like for you to be in my beauty contest." And he gave me a Hot Rod magazine. It says, "We're looking for a new Miss Hurst Golden Shifter. She must have a good personality, like racing," which I love, know what she's talking about, which I did, and I could drive cars, which I have, and have sound teeth. And I go, "Are you looking for a race queen or a race horse?"
And sound teeth?
And sound teeth, because I'm a dental technician.
Right.
So I guess he wanted us to have really pretty teeth when we smiled for Hot Rod magazine.
So there were
I entered that contest, 200 girls, and I won it. So that was in 1966, and I've been working ever since.
And there were girls,
200 girls in the contest.
but there were other Hurst Shifter
There were
girls
other Hurst Shifter
before?
girls. Yeah, that Patty Flannery. I guess she had false teeth. I don't know. All I know is he wanted somebody with sound teeth.
So you came up, you kind of came up
Stepped
at the
up.
time with Wally Parks, too, during the time of NASCAR starting.
Yeah, well,
and
he offered me a job, but I'd rather have gone to work for Hearst because I could go to all the races, not just stock car racing. I could go to IndyCar races, and I could go to drag races, and I wanted to do it all. So I started building up my reputation. I worked my butt off, 134 events my first year in 1966. Almost killed me.
How smart of you to think that way.
I got tonsillitis, but here I got to learn more about cars and shifters and clutches and flywheels and competition, and I've always loved American cars. So the Pontiacs and the Oldsmobiles and the Chevrolets and the Fords, I was right there, a part of it. Just loved every minute of it.
So
I got hooked. That was my drug of choice, was motorsports.
Motorsports. So I'm assuming you were exposed to some of the manufacturer's principles.
Oh, absolutely.
Like DeLorean
I knew John,
with GTO and Pontiac and all of that.
That was George Hurst's first big company that he signed OEM, original equipment manufacturer, for Pontiac. And I was Miss Pontiac in 1962, and then Miss Hurst Golden Shifter in '66, so it all went together really well. And I'd work the trade shows, race on Sunday, sell on Monday. I become a part of that whole marketing scheme that we had going on there, and it snowballed. It got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was busy, traveling all over, everywhere, just loving every minute of it. But it got me a little sick there. I had to take a little time off and get tonsils taken out because 134 events the first year.
Wow.
I had to get well again, so I only did 100 the next year.
Two or three, almost two events a week.
I know, that's what it was.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've never had a pet until now because I was always gone.
Sure.
I've had cats, but I've never had a dog until now. And thank God I have my dog now. I know what you folks out there love your animals because he was wonderful to me during the pandemic. He gained 10 pounds and I think I gained 20. All I did was cook and eat. He's my boyfriend. His name is Curly Joe Cocker.
That's the dog's name.
Yeah. He's my boyfriend.
So you were smart in the sense of knowing stick with Hurst and not go into one facet or one company.
Right. I turned down Playboy, Penthouse, all those things because once you're exposed, you're over. And I've never done anything like that, never will, and wouldn't want to because I promised my mother I'd always do the right thing and make her proud, and I have made her proud. And of course, I wouldn't be in the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America had I not taken with pride and done my job. And I keep receiving awards and things, which is the love and the passion we all have for motorsports. And it's been hard at times. I've lost friends along the way.
Sure.
And I've fallen in love a few times, and I've watched them die a few times. And it's been hard. It wasn't easy. But it was my passion that keeps me going. And so long people still want me, I'm still going to do it. I'm booked into next year already. I'm thrilled to death.
Wow.
It's wonderful.
You came in a period of time where, you're coming into to motorsports, which was male dominated.
Absolutely.
So you as a beautiful woman had to establish your boundaries.
Be smart, be truthful, honest, get along with the wives and the ladies because I am a lady myself.
Sure.
And I took my mother with me and she'd make my costumes. We'd be sexy and cute, but we'd never go overboard. We never would do anything that would embarrass anybody. And I treated it as if it were my religion and my family because I'm married to racing. I really am. I have no children. I'm not married, and I am married to this industry and sport, which that's what I chose to do. And I think the good Lord blessed me to put me where I am because Lord knows how much fun I've had, and I've had my ups and downs, but I got to travel the world with Mario Andretti when we did the Formula One circuit. I got to spend time with the late Jimmy Clark, as I'm sure you was going to ask me something about Jim Clark. And the love and the passion that goes along with it. So it's great stories. I hope to do a lot of books before I die. I've already done one, but I'm working on number 2 right now.
That's good. And number 2, can you give us any hints on number 2?
It's just to kind of pick up where number 1 was more of a pictorial, and I told a few stories along the way, but people write to me and ask me about Jimmy and ask me about AJ and Mario. Hell, I could probably write a book on AJ.
And you and AJ were kind of like, the way I saw you guys were like brother and sister.
We hooked horns a few times. But I kept him and Mario from killing each other a few times because I'm telling you, I even invited them all to my house in Atlanta one time for dinner, and I had Lloyd Ruby there. And Lloyd said, "Sister, you're smart." He goes, "They're either going to eat everything or fight." And I go, "They're going to eat." I said, we need to make sure we all are on the same page and nobody gets hurt. Because the Atlanta Speedway was very high banked and very dangerous, and we were going to run 2 races, the twin IndyCar races out there. And I wanted everybody to be safe. I've always been a part of safety. George Hurst, invented the Jaws of Life. The Jaws of Life. And the Jaws of Life has saved so many people. And I've always been very safety conscious with the flywheels and the clutches and the shifters and making sure we build things so the fire wouldn't come up through the firewall in the NASCAR races. And drag racers have developed so many great safe parts for our street cars because I'm a muscle girl. I got a big block 455 Hurst Olds at the house. Nice. I drove my Chevrolet over here today. I got that CTSV Cadillac.
Oh, you
I'm
do?
nuts.
Nice.
I can't help myself.
Let me ask you a question. So I've always heard, always heard you referred to as Miss Hurst Golden Shifter. Is there something other than golden? Was there a regular shifter and then there was a golden shifter?
Well, the title was Golden Shifter because George Hurst's paint schemes were gold and white and gold and black.
Got it.
And we made a few golden shifters, but there's nothing like a real good-looking stainless steel shifter.
Yeah, that's true.
But that was the title, and I own the rights to the Miss Hurst Golden Shifter,
great.
till today.
Great.
And it's wonderful to represent the company. Although it's been sold 5 times, I don't even know who has it now. I still represent Hurst with all my heart and soul forever. I love it.
That's fantastic.
And if America would build the same stuff that they used to build and stand strong behind our good things that we built in this industry, I think we'd get more jobs and a lot more business for America again.
Yeah, here. I agree with you on
that. I used
that.
to start my shows off by saying, "Hi, I'm Linda Vaughn, Miss Hurst Golden Shifter, and we are the car business of America." And I love doing that. It's like I grew up with rock and roll music. I mean, I grew up in the 60s, rocking and rolling and racing.
Right.
And everything. There's no age limit to any of it. I mean, you can go to, say, a Barrett Jackson auction. It does my heart so good to walk in and see a nice GTO or anything with a Hurst shifter in it, original Hurst shifter in it.
Yeah.
Because we built them strong, and we were non-union, and we took care of our own. We even had blind folks working in the building, and because they had a touch and a feel about quality. They'd touch and see if everything was smooth before it was put in that box to be shipped. I mean, George Hurst was a saint, absolute saint.
Wow, what a smart man.
Yeah, brilliant man, really and truly. And I sure wish I had one of those Pontiacs. I kind of had to sell a few of my cars when I got real sick because of hospital bills. Yeah. And I wish I had one of my Pontiacs. I miss him. I never had any children. My cars are my kids.
So you worked at you were kind of the ambassador for Hurst, but then you also became an employee of Hurst.
Well, after about 4 to 5 years, George says, "I'm going to make you a corporate company employee, and I'm going to send you a turkey or a ham every year." I said, "Send me one of each." I got 13 brothers and sisters. And he did. I became a part of the company in marketing and PR and advertising. I worked with the greatest man in the world, Jack Duffy. Jack Duffy left RCA. He was the one that had the dog listening to the Victrola,
the RCA,
and went to work for George Hurst. And we turned Hurst into a household word, just like Richard Petty and STP. We're at Hurst, and I just loved all our events and shows. And getting invited, I'll never forget this as long as I live. I was invited to Detroit for the SAE. Do you know what the SAE is?
No.
Automotive engineers. I was invited to speak to the automotive engineers, and I had a line a mile long. And here comes Leah Pruett and Carol Shelby. I was so proud that they had all their friends over there in my line getting a poster.
Well, I mean,
that was wonderful.
It's one thing to be kind of the face for Hurst, but you also knew the products.
Marketing. See,
and you
like
would
I say, you race on Sunday and you sell on Monday. And then I'd go to the warehouse distributors. I'd go to the speed shops. I even still do it every once in a while now because I think it's so important for our industry and our sport to grow, and I think it keeps it. There's no age limit. My daddy's car, I loved it then, and a 32 Roadster, and I ended up building a 33 Roadster because there's no age limit. Because it's class, it's beautiful, and I used everyone in the industry. Like Budnick built me the wheels, the Val built me the windshields, glorious, just like an Auburn. It's gorgeous, and I named it the Sports Rod. I was on the cover of Street Rodder magazine with it.
Sports Rod.
It was a sports car and a hot rod combined, and a woman design. And I worked with several women that made and Ford did the engine. It's the only Ford product I ever had, but Edsel was so kind to work with us, and we really smoked the tires, honey. Goodyear supplied the tires. Goodyear still works with me. I still work with Goodyear every chance I get. Stu Grant's one of the most wonderful engineers at Goodyear, and all the people at Goodyear have been my family. So I'm pretty true blue to all the companies I've worked with all these years.
I can imagine that while you were while you were in doing the circuits and going to the tracks and all of this, I mean, obviously you gain a rapport and a friendship with all these racers, and I'm assuming that these racers also kind of looked after you too and protected you.
It's amazing. Some of them treated me like I was their little sister.
Yeah, I could imagine.
I never had any trouble with fans bothering me or anything except one time, and it wasn't at Monza like Jackie Stewart said, "Don't let them pinch you." It was at a race we went to in Puerto Rico, and they pushed the fence over to get to Bob Riggle that was driving the Hurst Hemi under glass, and you should have seen George Hurst, Jack Duffy, and Bob Riggle jump down those guys. I said, "Don't touch me," and boy, they didn't. That's the only time I ever almost hit somebody.
Really? So
I've always been treated very, very nicely, and
that's good.
Respect. And we've appeared on the board of the ships in the Navy.
Sure.
We flew with the Blue Angels, and I threw up all over the cockpit. But they'd do the air shows, we'd do the ground shows. We worked together with the Hurst Hemi under glass. It's just snowballed into so many activities along the way that it was never a dull moment. I mean, I'm just amazed that they still invite me. I love it.
So in the 60s, did you ever participate, and I don't know the answer to this question, did you ever participate with any of the USO or any of the Bob Hope events or any of that?
Oh, of course I did.
You did?
Bob Hope gave me my award at SEMA, SEMA Person of the Year. Bob Hope, I was introduced to Bob Hope at the Indy 500 by Mr. Tony Hullman and Brigadier General and a 4-star general, General Lassiter and General LeMay. And they introduced me, and then we went the next day up to Watkins Glen and went to the Formula One race, and I met Jimmy Clark for the first time.
Wow.
And I fell madly in love with those brown eyes. There was just something radiant about Jim Clark's eyes, the way he looked at me and the way he spoke to me. What a gentleman. He was the true gentleman racer. And we became friends, and we dated for a while. And I was so proud of him when he came to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So everything snowballed into another part of my life.
Wonderful.
It was just beautiful. And Bob Hope gave me, I still have the cigarette lighter, although I didn't smoke. He gave me a gold cigarette lighter with his nose on it, thanking me for doing the Armed Forces shows. So I walked out and I said, "I don't sing, I don't dance, but I can sure shift your gears." And everybody went crazy.
So I can imagine too. I mean, I know that you were in was it Gumball Rally,
movies,
couple movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So did Hollywood come calling and kind of like, "Hey, come on down"?
They did. But I would read the scripts, and I chose a few to do. Burt Reynolds is a dear friend of mine. Paul Newman, Gene Hackman, just the real true stars of our industry and sport. They all love racing.
Yeah.
And I got to be with them. I mean, I just treated them like I would anybody else.
Sure.
Everybody else has to eat, sleep, drink, and go to the bathroom the same way. I never treated Paul Newman any different than I would anybody else. And I think that's why we hit it off so well. Of course, AJ was one of the most cantankerous ones to put up with.
AJ Foyt, yeah.
He'd say, "You like Mario better than you like me." And oh God, I said, "Would y'all shut up?"
And you have a good relationship with both of them.
I was just with
Mario.
Mario last month. I
really?
flew into Indianapolis, and my girlfriend Nancy George and I were guests at his granddaughter's wedding. And we went to Michael's house, this big, gorgeous mansion out there. And they had the most lovely wedding. And I kind of felt sad for Mario when I saw him sitting in the pew at the wedding by himself, because he'd just lost his wife, and he lost his brother, and he lost his
twin.
nephew. And I was really sad for him. And then after that, we all started drinking and eating, and it became an Italian wedding. So it was lovely getting to spend time with Mario.
And I think Michael's working on an F1 team or something, that he's got something cooking.
I don't know anything.
He's got something cooking.
I don't tell on the boys. It's like when Tony Stewart and Leah, I don't know a thing. I know a lot, but I never tell.
Good.
In fact, I flew from the Motorsports Hall of Fame with Leah Pruett and Tony Stewart down to Indianapolis and went to the wedding. And Tony dropped me off in his big jet. It was fun.
What do you think of?
They're forming a team, for next year. Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah.
And then, and they're talking about doing Formula in Vegas.
Yeah, they're talking about that. But that track, we don't want any more accidents like what we had with Dan Welburn. So I'm hoping they really reconsider some things and make the track safer. I love the track, but it needs a few little things done to it. Mm-hmm. They're going to go to Miami too. Did you watch the Formula One the other day?
Oh yeah. My sons were there. Yeah. My sons flew out.
Yeah, it was fabulous. Yeah. I didn't go because I wasn't quite feeling well enough. I should have gone. I've been there before with Chip Ganassi and his team when the sports cars ran. And I was kind of upset I wasn't there, but I watched television all day long last Sunday a week ago. It was everything.
It was everything. It was the biggest. I think it came at number 2. Was the highest rated TV show for the day, and everything.
It was lovely. Well, so was Nashville. Really good for Indy cars. It was really good, but that track's a little bit too tight and too short. But now Austin, they got it together. That's an awesome track, and I'm glad I've gotten to go there and see it for real. But I thought it was an outstanding race. I enjoyed it. The competition was great, and it had the biggest crowd, 400,000 for the 2 days. On race day was almost 150,000, so that was perfect. Yeah. It's good to see us getting jobs again back in our country and getting back together. Yeah. And the fans were so receptive. Did you see that crowd? How beautiful. It was wonderful. Of course, it's Texas.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think the FIA's eyes opened up, and they went, holy moly, look what's going on in the United States.
Yeah, look what's happening in the United States. So now they're talking about Miami.
Yep. Miami, and so.
There's nothing like Daytona, though. I always go to Daytona every February, and NHRA every February. I mean, it's just part of Florida. My life. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And Sebring's a good track.
Oh, yeah. Sebring, ooh, yes. That's a whole nother story. James Garner drove for us down there. Then we went off-road racing. James Garner drove for us in the off-road races.
In Baja?
Oh, yeah. We won. And, of course,
500 or the 1,000 or something,
both. Yeah, we did well. Steve McQueen drove the Baja boot for us one year. So I got acquainted with all these folks. But like I say, I'm a country girl from Georgia. I treat everybody the same. If you're nice to me, I'm nice to you. That's the way to be.
Sure,
do unto others as you have them do unto you. Yeah.
Linda, the era of the 60s and the 70s, you're at the track a lot. You're seeing everything going on. You probably saw some pretty scary accidents too.
Oh, absolutely. I've lost friends. We've learned through our mistakes. The first time it is a mistake. The second time would be stupidity. And George Hurst was not stupid. That's why he developed the Jaws of Life. That's why we have the fire retardant uniforms. Thank you. God bless you, Bill Simpson, for saving so many lives. Saving me, especially in the pits in Indy. You can't see the fuel. When it splashed on my legs, had I not had on a Simpson uniform, I would have been burnt beyond recognition. Really? And just the things that we've learned all working together for safety. And SEMA approved. And we have to work together to save our sport. And I think, for instance, Austin, I mean, they set us on fire. It was beautiful. That was outstanding. Yeah. Nashville, outstanding. I want them to go back and run Indianapolis. All the guys want to run the oval. I think the oval racing at Indianapolis should come back stronger than ever. And I really wish Penske well. He's had a real rough few years with his health and with what happened with the pandemic, but Indianapolis is still the greatest lady of all.
So I mean, because you've done, drag racing as well. Yeah. And do you prefer one over the other, or
heck no, I like it all.
Oh, there you go.
In February, I'm going to Daytona 500. I'm going to the Winter Nationals, where I first saw you.
Yeah.
Did you see me on top of my Hurst shifter car?
I believe I did. That's another thing. Is that how safe did you feel being on top of those things?
Well, we practiced safety, especially at Sebring. I'll never forget one of the wires broke, but you couldn't see. There were invisible wires that held the shifter on the back of the platform on the Hurst Oldsmobile or the Hurst Pontiac, whatever vehicle we used. But we practiced at Daytona before I went, and sure enough, it broke at Sebring right after Daytona.
One of the lines broke?
One of the lines broke, and I dove into the back of the seat. So I was always prepared to take care of myself, because George didn't want me to get hurt.
Sure.
And I certainly didn't want to get scrambled out there on the track. So I never got hurt, God bless. I never got hurt.
Because I know that the shifter had, I could see a handle.
Well, it had a part that went up in the shifter. It held, then the wires were invisible wires that held it tight to the platform. Then I had a handle. Yeah.
I would always see you grab and wave and then grab and then turn and wave.
You'd see me walk around. Well, I would be stepping around those invisible wires that was holding it together.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So I had to do it gracefully to do the bow, and then I'd step back over, and you have to be careful with the wire.
So as
and it went ping, and I went to the back seat.
So you were you hit a point. Well, definitely. You hit a point where you were so busy that you had to bring on additional girls.
Oh, I got so busy. I was making myself sick trying to do so much. And I asked George, I said, George, I need help. Let me start the Hurst program. And he goes, how much is that going to cost? We put together a budget. Okay, how many pairs of stockings did y'all go through that first month? I said, how'd our legs look? I said, I got leg stockings to be a sponsor with us because we'd tear up stockings, maybe 2 or 3 pair a day. But we had the prettiest legs out there. I mean, they were professional models.
Yeah, exactly.
And Mother made the outfits, and we tried to look really pretty and have come up with a different outfit every event. And it was hard working those girls. Sometimes I had to get a little rough with them and tell them, look, what y'all do when you're not at the track is your business. And what you do at the track is my business. And if you want to be paid and become young ladies like this, then you have to do this, this, and this, because I ruled the roost.
Yeah.
It was my hard work that got them there. And you know what? The girls become so much a part of my life. I felt like they're all my little sisters. I only had trouble with one, and I had to fire her, which I did.
Yeah. But they were representing the brand and the marketing and you.
And me.
Yeah.
And I wanted the ladies to respect them because I had to earn that respect.
Sure.
And I would never let them get out of line. No.
And I mean, because you became a brand yourself.
Well, I did, and I had to send them to the store openings, and I wasn't going to send, say, Junebug, she was that little tiny one, the cutest thing in the world, to Pep Boys by herself, so I'd send Shelly, which is the big tall one, and they'd go into a store opening, but I'd have security for them, and we'd look after them. But they became so popular. I mean, we really had it going.
Was there a time that you, this is a question I haven't heard asked, was there ever a time that you actually had to have security with you going places?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Really?
It became more popular, and the more popular you became, the more dangerous it became outside your industry, not within the racetrack, not within, because everybody looked after us, like brothers.
Right.
But outside, we were careful, because, this day and time, you have to be careful.
Sure.
I even have to be careful today. As old as I am, you still have to keep eyes in the back of your head. You don't know what's back there.
Sure.
So I'm pretty I'm very safety conscious. I mean, I change my alarm system all the time. I have a gun in every room. But you have to. But we had really good security. Top Secret worked with me for 40 years. And even today, I can't pay him. We don't have the security budgets anymore. But when I go to Indy, he's still my security. And I think that's wonderful.
That's great.
Well, his family's my family. His children I watched grow up. So, we're a happy family in this sport. Well, you could go to breakfast with him in the morning, and you might be going to a funeral home at night. So we're very serious about what we do and who we're with, and we love it. It's passion. It's true love. If you ever heard of true love, this is true love, motorsports.
That's great. That's. What's your take? You mentioned like Leah Pruett. What is your take on these girls that are racing? I mean,
I think it's great. Muldowney and I worked together. We helped Muldowney, and I just did a show with Lynn St. James. Yeah, I just did a show with Lynn St. James. She ran 11 times at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I got her some sponsors, and she's a great friend. And Janet Guthrie is a great friend. Muldowney, she was a rough and tough girl, but boy, she kicked butt and took names, and still really popular today. We see each other about once or twice a year. But these girls, they've earned it. I mean, I really respect them. I never wanted to compete, although I took some driving schools so I could talk about it, like when I'm commentating for Pro Stock. I like to know, and it scared the hell out of me, but I enjoyed it. And I went to the Bonneville Salt Flats. I ran 2:07, and the Oldsmobile. I did the time trials. Wait,
you went really fast over this. Wait, you went 207 miles an hour?
On the Bonneville Salt Flats. scared the heck out of me. I went through the lights going, oh, S-H-I-T. Woo! But I did it, and it made me very aware of what was around me. When you push the clutch in and you're drifting on the salt, it's an eerie feeling, but if you don't do it just right, you can flip it.
Oh,
so I learned a lot because I have a fast little sports car, which I don't talk about too much. But, Ferraris run fast. So I wanted to learn more about the clutch and shifting. But it's nothing like a muscle car, though. Mother said, ain't you ever going to grow up? And I said, no, ma'am, as I handed her the keys to her own Hurst Oldsmobile.
There you go.
She was as bad as me. It's now in the Daytona Museum at the Daytona Speedway, folks.
That car?
And I hope that y'all go in. There's a beautiful museum, and that lovely 79 Hurst Olds is my car that I bought my mother. It's gorgeous. It looks like a brand new one. I've taken such good care of it.
And it's at the museum now?
It's in the museum, yeah.
Wow.
I gave it to the museum.
Wow, how wonderful.
To honor her and the sport and the Oldsmobile. What was that commercial years ago? It's not my dad's Oldsmobile, but it was my mother's.
So the saying we've all heard for so many years, race on Sunday, sell on Monday. Did you really see that happening?
Oh, absolutely.
You saw?
Absolutely.
And the numbers and the manufacturers at Oldsmobile and at Hurst, they saw the numbers moving.
Oh, absolutely. We knew how to market it and sell it. And the marketing was so vitally important. And even some of the ads today I see, I just still love all the old traditional ads and things. I've saved a lot of them.
So I can imagine that
Ford does a great job when they win a race. The next day they're advertising, as well as the other companies. Not to take away from the other companies, I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
No. So, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen to the sport moving forward?
If we get our world straightened out with this disease and get ourselves together, I clean that up, let people go back to being built with pride and loving their cars, and I think we got plenty of generations to go. I mean, everybody loves their cars. My first love was that 57 Chevrolet.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy, he's cute.
Yeah.
I always had this thing for Jimmys. My first kiss was a Jimmy, and then my first world champion was Jimmy Clark. So I just love the vehicles. I really do.
And Jim Clark was with Lotus at the time.
Oh yes, I love that little green Lotus.
With the Cosworth?
Colin Chapman, the Cosworth engine. Yeah.
Right.
And the engineers from Cosworth, I still see at the Speedway, and then Eric Broadley, gentleman who built the Lolas, and Bruce McLaren, and of course Shelby, and Ford versus Ferrari. I was a part of all that. I loved it. Yeah.
Did you get during your career? Le Mans. I was going to ask exactly. Did you get to Le Mans?
I went to Monza, Italy. And
really?
I went to Spa, Belgium. I went to Silverstone. I've been just about all over the world.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was such an honor to walk out on the track at Monza, and they go, Linda, American flag they wear, Linda, Linda. I came home with so many Ferrari souvenirs. I was looking at my flags yesterday. I still got my flag hanging in my guest bedroom.
Oh, my.
A Ferrari flag hanging in the bed. I'm crazy. It's a real honor to work with all these people, and I'm not through yet.
Yeah.
So long the Lord blesses me and I stay healthy. I'm having a few problems with my heart right now, but we're working on it. So it's like I get my oil changed,
Oil change. So what's next for Linda? Where's Linda's
Linda's going to the drag race tomorrow in Las Vegas, and I'm going to stay in Las Vegas for the SEMA
next week.
SEMA's, I'm in the SEMA Motorsports Hall of Fame, so I'll be there for the luncheon and the breakfast and the dinners and the new products. And Leno's speaking on Tuesday morning. We got the NHRA on Wednesday morning. There's no sleep.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. And I'm not a gambler. I just maybe occasionally go to a show, but this show's very hard.
Yeah.
And I have Mike Gary's got he made me a little scooter with a Hurst shifter on it, so I can get my scooter and ride from the hotel into the convention. Is 18 miles, so that's 18 miles of walking, and I can't do it, so I got my scooter. So I scooter poot all over the place.
And then you've got the you're working on book number 2.
Yeah, I'm just I started a little bit last year, just writing things down.
Just trying to dabble
somewhere
with
I've
it.
lost my PA thing. I used to talk into it. I don't know what I've done with it. I can't find half the stuff.
Okay, well, thank you so much for
you're
doing
very
this for
welcome.
me.
And what was that one question you weren't going to ask me until we got through? We did the beginning, the middle, now the end.
Yeah, we did I can't remember what it was. I think we covered it. I think we actually did cover it, talking about.
Well, I've always
Jim
wanted
Clark.
to have a 12-car garage. And if I sell my house in California, I think I'll have enough money and I go back to Georgia. I could build me a 12-car garage.
Probably.
And we'll have Linda's garage.
Yeah, there we go. Linda's Garage,
Wouldn't that
right?
be a great time?
Yeah, Linda's
Ed,
Auto
come
Garage.
visit, Ed, come visit Linda's garage.
Again, thank you, Linda,
My
so much.
pleasure. Thank
I
you. It's a
appreciate
real
so much.
pleasure.
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed it. I hope your folks enjoyed it.
I think so. And so thanks everybody for listening. And here we go, guys. Everybody, the beautiful
Thank
Linda
you.
Vaughn.
Thank you. I'm single. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Come back, sis, now.